Question 4. How did you use media technologies in the construction and research, planning and evaluation stages? Blogger was a great platform for developing an interactive blog to document the construction and preparation of the project. Having used blogging websites such as Tumblr and WordPress previously, I was familiar with presenting a variety of medias on a hosting website such as this. However, I did learn a lot about using the site, such as making new label categories and introducing other new medias when presenting the work. The ability to host a poll was another useful tool, and I did this when generating audience feedback. Furthermore, Blogger's format enabled me to present my work to the public as well as my peers, and therefore I could receive feedback during the construction of the project's draft versions. By using Blogger, I could keep track of my progress while I blogged every step of the project, from the introduction to the evaluation, and I could embed medias including pictures and videos to show where I was getting ideas and inspiration from as part of my research. Blogger was used as a diary, where I could constantly update it with ideas and progress after filming shoots, editing days and posting projections of things I wanted to achieve. Technologies including broadband and mobile internet were imperative for the research of the project, and so I found using my smartphone and laptop of great use to me. Being able to instantly access the internet allowed me to further my understanding of the conventions of music video, explore interpretations of theorists such as Andrew Goodwin, further my knowledge of using the technology I wanted to use during the project, and also get an idea of what other medias were out there that I could access. Using websites including Google and Wikipedia gave me a background of the software I would later use, as well as a means to research into the nature of the band Viva Brother, who I wanted to create a music video for, and begin giving consideration to the synergy I would create between the video and ancillary texts. In addition to this, using predominantly Apple technology including iMacs allowed me to easily take note of things via screen grabbing, where I could then embed these stills onto Blogger. Social media such as Facebook, Twitter, Vimeo and YouTube were important for generating audience feedback of the music video, so I circulated the draft of my project across these medias, which achieved very positive but also constructive feedback. YouTube was also particularly useful for accessing previous student work that I could analyse as part of my research. I decided that Vimeo would predominantly be my hosting site because it uploaded videos at better quality, whilst I retained YouTube as a media to post editing updates and initial drafts onto. However, these medias were not only important for the purpose of sharing. YouTube allowed me to learn more about film production via online tutorials before I even reached the construction stage. Facebook and Twitter gave me access to the top trends and popular music videos that I was able to analyse. Vimeo, as a more recent video sharing website, tended to embody the work of more technically advanced producers, and this therefore gave me an insight into the latest effects and looks that I could incorporate into my video. Social media was therefore a way of keeping my research current to my audience by adopting the present day conventions I could find for myself, aside from those that have been addressed in theorist study. I also used technology such as a scanner to embed my research onto my blog, and I used SlideShare to upload PowerPoint presentations. Prezi was another useful media for presenting information such as projections of what I intended to do when making the project. Furthermore, SurveyMonkey was a technology I had no previous knowledge of, however it was useful for creating a questionnaire that could also be shared online to generate a wider response of audience feedback. Script as well as Microsoft Word were other examples of media programs that were useful when planning the project and presenting research of pre-existing music videos. As another form of research, I also used iDVD when viewing directors' showreels, which presented a back catalogue of their music videos. Prior to constructing my main product, I first carried out some work as a preliminary task in a group that allowed me to get an insight into the conventions of music video, which enabled me to experiment with these. During the construction of the task, I used iMovie as my source of video editing software. I used our media department's HD video cameras and a tripod to also allow me to do this. However, this initial preparation towards what would later transpire as my real music video product was helpful, as it allowed me to incorporate technology such as a green screen that I had no previous knowledge of. During the construction of my real music video, I reflected upon what I had experienced and learned during the preliminary task. When filming, I decided to use a Canon 550D over the option of a lower spec digital camera provided by the media department. As a result of this, filming and editing was more precise, and I could use the better shots from the footage gathered. For example, I was able to record at 50 frames per second at 720p quality. To enhance this HD experience, I used the Steadicam across a lot of the video, providing a necessary stabilisation method, and as well, a tripod to capture some of the long and mid shots. Using an SLR camera made the filming experience light and easily portable. Furthermore, the advantage of this over older style camcorders was having the ability to immediately review raw footage and improve specific shots, which could be displayed on a screen of higher resolution. Features such as manual focus were also useful. I used Final Cut Express to import the footage and begin ordering clips. Having used iMovie in the preliminary task, which had been useful at this first stage, I now decided that it was necessary to use more advanced software that could provide me with a wider range of options, such as effects and tools. Consciously, I decided to then download the Final Cut Pro X version, which gave me an even greater range of tools, and I also developed a preference for the layout of this software and how easy I found it to use compared to Express. I used iStop Motion because I felt that animation was an element worth experimenting with. However, I did not incorporate it into my final music video. I also experimented with programs including LiveType to create a title for the draft versions of my project. Motion 5 was another program I experimented with during the construction stages, when I learned skills such as creating effective kinetic typography. I incorporated medias such as JPEG image stills when creating an MTV watermark, as well as black lines to create artificial aspect ratios and resemble the letterbox effect. When creating audio to layer over my director's title and logo, I used software including GarageBand and Cubase, which included an internal library of synthetic sounds. I used SoundCloud to then host this soundtrack so that I could receive some audience feedback that I could share via my social media accounts. When exporting drafts of my video, I used Compressor because it provided a conventional way of exporting my video and retaining a good quality. I also used QuickTime when reviewing these exports before uploading them as drafts online. When constructing the concert poster, I prioritised using Photoshop CS4 because of the professional standard it provides for designing media such as this. The software allowed me to use tools including polygonal and magnetic lassos, cloning, cropping, merging colour tones and creating textures and layers. When constructing the website, the other ancillary task I chose to make, I used Wix.com as my host. I found using the website simple, and if necessary I was able to adjust HTML code without problems. The website allowed me to use a range of tools to create a conventional website like the ones I had studied during my research. Finally, using web-based email to circulate drafts of the main product and auxiliary text for my media tutor harnessed a quick and easy way of receiving feedback during the construction stage of the project. During the evaluation stage, I decided to embed the 4 evaluation questions inside a Prezi for means of easily accessing the questions altogether. For question 1, I decided to convey my response via a video chat recorded on PhotoBooth. During the exchange, I also featured screen videos that were recorded with QuickTime to illustrate the points I was making. I felt that this was a good method of communicating my answer for this question. For question 2, where I considered how effective the combination of my main product and ancillary text were, I presented this in the form of a PowerPoint presentation. This presented the considerations I had given to this aspect of the project in an organised manner. For question 3, I used a Glogster to create a flow diagram whilst embedding stills and videos, which overall created a really effective interactive page. This allowed me to get particularly creative with the presentation of this question and the technology I could use. For question 4, I decided to make a podcast with intercutting images to illustrate the points I was making when considering how well media technologies were used across the whole project.